There was one abandoned house in my neighborhood. It used to be a candy shop, but by the time I was born, the shop had long since been abandoned. According to what I have heard from my neighbors, the candy shop used to be a regular hangout for children. She was usually kind and cheerful, but would scold you if you did something wrong. She was such an old lady. She used to say, "I see all the children who come to my store as my grandchildren." She was feared by the children as an evil old woman, but was loved by them as if she were their second grandmother. My mother would often visit the store and have the old lady play with her and tell her interesting stories. Unfortunately, however, the old lady was not able to pass away as the grandma of all, as she was affectionately known. It all started when the old lady caught a shoplifter. Since many girls came to the store, it also had accessories for children. But one day, the old lady realized that the number of items did not match. The old lady suspected that it had been shoplifting, and a group of girls came up to her and told her that A-chan had stolen a necklace and was bragging about it. The old lady was furious about it and caught the child who came to the store in question and yelled at her furiously. Of course, the fact that she loved her children as if they were her own grandchildren probably caused her a great deal of sadness and anger at being betrayed. However, my mother said that if the girl had honestly admitted and apologized, she is sure that Grandma would have forgiven the girl. The girl in question said, having cried in front of the angry old woman, "I didn't steal it. It wasn't me." The girl's complaint was just fuel for her anger, and the old lady called her school and called her hometown teacher and the principal. She then cursed at the crying girl in front of the two people who she had called out and asked what was going on with their education. The old lady finally called even her parents and told them not to come to our store again, and the old lady's rage was finally getting calm. But for the girl who had been so cherished and yelled at so much, that was rather the beginning of the story. Her parents cried, and her teachers called her out as a problem child. Her classmates and even lower classmates called her a criminal, and no one would listen to what the girl had to say. Not very much, but I guess that was not the kind of torture a small child could endure. The girl died a few days later when she jumped off a pedestrian bridge near the school into the street. The old lady, whose raging anger had cooled down by then, was greatly shocked to hear the news. But after yelling and cursing so much, I guess she couldn't even say she had said too much now. Whenever someone brought up the subject, the old lady would swear that such a bad person deserved to die, or it's cowardly to die and run away. One day, however, the old lady learned that she had made a terrible mistake. That day, parents and daughter came to the restaurant. Sandwiched between the grim-faced parents, in the middle is a familiar face, swollen and weeping. It was one of a group of girls who told on the shoplifter. The old lady couldn't believe what she heard from the child's mother with a sorry look on her face. The mother said, "Actually, it looks like her daughter did that shoplifting, not A-chan who committed suicide. She had a pretty face, so it seems she was pretty much envied by girls. So it seems that everyone tried to frame her for shoplifting and set her up." I remember my mother saying to me in a disgusted tone, "I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about." After that, the old lady was bashed for this, and that she was an ogre who sent an innocent girl to her death. The old lady was called a murderer by her children, whom she had cherished like grandchildren, and had rocks thrown into her stall. Parents who originally did not like the old lady's behaviour called to protest, and the school was told not to go to the shop because it was owned by a problematic person. To top it all off, the store was ransacked by a group of mafia-like people who had heard her story, and the old lady was completely overwhelmed both physically and mentally. The old lady's sister, or younger sister, who had come from far away after hearing the problem, found the body of the old lady hanging dead, and the candy shop went out of business. I can only make amends by doing this. Please forgive me. It seems that there was a suicide note that says something like this. That's why even delinquents who want to test their courage don't go near there. Don't you think anything strange, because you will be punished. My mother told me so. But by that time I had already decided to go see the ruins of the former candy shop. I was a college student at the time. It was almost time to graduate from college. Although it was a dangerous tightrope walk that would have ruined my career path if I had been booked for trespassing, I was not concerned about any of that at the time, because I wanted to make some lasting memories of college. There are anecdotal stories of suicide in our neighborhood. It is an affordable haunted place where if the need arises, you can just run and get out of the way. The ruins of this candy shop were the perfect place in every sense of the word. I told my friends what my mother had told me, and they were all like, "Okay, here we go," and were all very excited. Plans were quickly made, and the day of the courage test came quickly. I knew it would have a certain atmosphere at night. "How do you feel, Mr. C?" friend B says. "I can feel it. The old lady is beckoning me there right now." And friend C would say something without really giving it that much thought. "You're lying for sure." My friend D is so excited. There were about 5 people, including myself, who participated in the courage test, and among them was a man named Friend C. Friend C had always claimed to be psychic, and in fact mysterious things had often happened to him, such as disappearing someone's hand or foot when a picture is taken with him, or orbs all over the picture even though it was taken outdoors in a windless area. Even so, everyone was skeptical about Friend C's psychic abilities, but since we were going to test our courage, we had to have an expert, so we invited him to join us, and he gladly accepted the invitation. That was roughly how my friend C participated in the courage test. Also, friend C was a good-natured person, and the place would naturally become more lively when he was with him. However, As soon as his friend C entered the ruins, he fell silent. We were, for a while, like, wow, it's a real candy store. The old toys and stuff are still there, it's amazing. We were searching around the area with admiration rather than fear. One of them noticed his friend C, who was strangely quiet, and approached him. Then friend C, with a rather grim expression on his face, said, "Have you been hearing strange noises since a while ago?" Someone says, "Sound?" The buoyant atmosphere in the room was quickly cooled by C's comment. "I hear something like a creaking of a rope." The creaking sound of the rope reminded us of hanging. I asked my friend C, "Where are you hearing the noise from? I don't hear anything." I asked. "I think it's in the back," replied C with a weary look on his face. It was not as space as a candy shop, but as the home of an old lady who committed suicide. From there, he said, he heard a strange noise of creaking ropes. C's words were enough to scare us, but there are exceptions, people who are not afraid. "Okay then, let's go deeper." A man named D, instead of getting scared, started to move forward happily. Hey, we originally came here to see a ghost. Let's go see the old lady's face." D, who inspires us, said. I thought to myself, I don't do the courage just to see ghosts. But the momentum was so strong that we reluctantly decided to proceed to the back. However, Z, who was blasting away, was leading the way and moving forward at a steady pace, so my fear was not that great. Someone shouted, "Oh!" and one of them stopped. And I stopped at the exact same time. Someone said, I can hear it now. What the heck is this creepy?" He yelled. Such sounds can certainly be heard. The sound was more shrill and insistent than I had expected, and so loud that there was no way we could have missed it. Why didn't I hear such a loud noise earlier? This question caused us a great deal of anxiety. D, without regard to such things, kept moving forward at a brisk pace. Guys, are you seriously hearing something? I still can't hear anything, says D. All of us did not have enough time to answer the question of D, who looked to have a complaint. No more. I didn't want to hear the sound. We didn't even have time for such complaints. We were swallowed up in front of great fear and terrible anxiety. The sound gradually gets closer. Eventually, D stopped in his tracks, saying, "Oh, isn't this the place, the suicide site?" D pointed. In contrast to my friend who said it in a casual manner, C scowled and let out a sound of heartfelt displeasure. And I also had the same look as C. The sound, which has not yet stopped, was indeed coming from inside the room in front of me. A yellowed and cobwebbed door inside the room, which was probably a bedroom. A tragic thing had happened in the past. This was already obvious without needing to think about it. I'm gonna have to go. No. This is the only room that is definitely not good. C looks like he's about to cry. The fact that C, who is as fearless and psychic as D, was so frightened confirmed that it was a bad idea to try to uncover the room in front of us. But D, who to this day can't hear a sound or perceive a bad situation at all, that advice was meaningless. Excuse me for interrupting. Saying this, D opened the door. The next moment, me too, and C, and D, and the rest of my friends, all of them, almost in unison, turned on their heels and ran, screaming. Ah! I exclaimed. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh no, oh no, oh no. That was bad. That was seriously bad. D exclaims. The road was so narrow in the ruins that we had to yield to each other to get through, but we did not care about that and headed for the exit. Anyway, we wanted to get away from the bedroom as soon as possible, every minute farther than anyone else. What I found in the bedroom was what I expected to see. An old woman hanging from the ceiling dangles and swings from side to side. That annoying sound accompanies its pendulum-like movements. The eyes are slurred and white, and the mouth is gaping open. We all saw the horrifying it that we are sure we will never forget. We selflessly ran out of the candy shop and found myself rolling into Dee's house. For a while, everyone was shivering in Dee's room, but as time went on, however, the fear faded away. And at some point, the joy of having had a scary experience as we had intended began to prevail in our minds. That was awesome. Ghosts really do exist, I said. D replies, I won't forget that old lady's face for a while. After all, except for C, none of us had ever seen a ghost. Naturally, I had no recollection of such a bizarre experience. The moment of the experience and the immediate aftermath was scary, of course, but time has softened that. Everyone, including myself, was in the mood for a victory party. But only one of them, my psychic C, was shaking with a blue face the whole time. You should get your act together too. You see that kind of thing every day, don't you? Z encourages him. Did you guys really look inside that room? C said back with a blue face. I saw her. That's why we all ran away, D replies. Only the old lady? C asks. I didn't understand what he meant to let out a... What? The place fell silent at the words of C who followed. Did you guys maybe only see the old lady? Blue face C said. What? Just the old lady, right? Someone says so, and C shook his head. Then, with a tremor in his voice, he said, the girl beside her was laughing and applauding stupidly as watching the old lady hang herself. We don't see it. I have no way of knowing for sure if I didn't notice it or couldn't see it. Even C, who is highly psychic, did not notice the clap at all until they opened the door. I've never seen anything so creepy. I'll never test my courage again. C was incontinent. The ruins are still there.